Right now from I Am Created Equal in Colorado, our friend Laura Carno is with us once more. Laura, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
I am excellent. It's good talking with you today. And some interesting news out of Colorado. On the good side, we have a school district, it looks like, in Colorado Springs that is re-examining their zero tolerance policies because they don't want to see kids actually get suspended for biting their Pop-Tart the wrong way or making a finger gun or things of that nature. They're actually taking a look at their policies.
Right, and the actual article that came out that talked about this, talked about having unnecessary expulsions and suspensions, but it didn't say what caused them to do it. So I actually talked to their communications director, and I said, hey, what was the impetus behind this? And she gave me the bill number. It's a new state statute, and I shouldn't say new. It actually was signed into law in 2012 that requires all school districts in Colorado to do what School District 11 just did. And essentially what they're saying is if there is some sort of a violation, that there may be disciplinary action instead of will be or shall be disciplinary action. So it gives them some leeway.
Okay, so but this is something that all school districts should be. It sounds like all the school districts in the state of Colorado should be doing at least something similar to this then.
Right, and essentially it looks like it was a little tiny thing that got snuck in. It was actually an amendment to the School Finance Act in 2012, and so I'm guessing that somebody snuck the amendment in. There's usually dozens of amendments on these big finance acts. And when I was speaking to the communications director at School District 11 here in Colorado Springs, she said, all school districts better be doing this. She sounded sort of like they had done it before anyone else. So We'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, this is really interesting. This is from, and I'm looking here at a handout from the Colorado School Safety Resource Center. As you say, HB 12-1345 in 2012, the General Assembly declaring that zero tolerance policies have resulted in unnecessary expulsions, suspensions, and law enforcement referrals. The bill was an effort to allow school administrators and local boards to use their discretion to determine appropriate disciplinary response to each incident. Wow, and as you say, this was sort of snuck in. This was flying under the radar until very recently.
Seemingly so. As much as I pay attention to these types of things in Colorado, I hadn't heard of it. So, but we'll definitely keep an eye on that.
Yeah, this is good.
Great news. Yeah, we did something right here. Yay.
And it only took 2 years for us to find out about it. Who knew? Now, the other side of the coin here. So 2 years after this passed, you got a school district, and hopefully other school districts are acting on this. The other side of this, though, here you have a product that has not even been made available for sale in Colorado, and already we have folks who are saying, we got to ban this, got to ban it now, got to ban this, Laura. Powdered alcohol, can't have it.
Right. This is just fascinating. So it came to my attention, I think the Denver Post had an article. There is a brand new state representative named Joanne Winholtz, and she's in the northern Denver suburbs. By the way, she's a Republican, and I say that only because Republicans just fought very hard to stop some bad gun legislation, which, some people could look at guns and say, oh, this is something that might harm you. We should ban it. We should limit it. So a Republican, brand new, she's not even sworn in yet. This is going to be her first bill. She's sponsoring a bill to ban powdered alcohol. And it's not out yet. The product has been approved and so forth. So a few days ago, I posted in social media, I said, dear Republicans, please stop banning things, very simply. So I take another look into this. The product is called Palcohol. So it's powdered alcohol. You take the word alcohol and just put the letter P for powdered on the front of the word. So Palcohol, there's this guy, he's a backpacker. You can check this out at palcohol.com. He actually has a 16-minute video about why all these things they're saying about it aren't true. But he has gone through the process and gotten all of his licensing, and as you can imagine, on an alcohol product. But essentially, he's a backpacker, and he was trying to figure out, how do I do a big, long, day-long backpack, and I want to have a drink at the end of it, but I am carrying extra weight. So essentially it's in this big envelope that you would zip open. You'd pour water in it, zip it back closed, shake it up, and you've got a mojito or vodka or whatever. And it's really very ingenious. And you look at it from a free market standpoint, and you say, gosh, this guy saw a market need. He created something. I say throw him a parade, not ban his product. And so, but like I said, there's this 16-minute video. So he goes into, they're saying that kids are going to snort it. So he demonstrates, okay, here's a shot of alcohol, and then he pours this powder into a glass next to it. Here is the powder. Why wouldn't they just drink this alcohol rather than go through the hour it would take to probably snort all this powder? And you're snorting alcohol, it would burn the inside of your nose. Nobody's going to do that. And he goes through all of these I'll call them myths. He's busting the myths that they're putting out there. But this is already banned, Cam, in several states, and many more, like my own state of Colorado, are trying to ban it. And I'm looking at this from a standpoint of a gun owner, where lots of people look at our products and our accessories and then shake their finger and say, no, this could be harmful. We better stop it before the market decides if it likes the product or not. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a dangerous precedent to set.
I do too. I do too, because again, when you're looking at, now look, as conservatives, we were just talking about this, we are, it's not that we're opposed to change, but, conservatives are generally speaking opposed to wholesale change for the sake of change. That doesn't mean, however, that you're in favor of banning stuff to keep things the way that they are. So, as you say, you look at this, okay, well, what could the potential harmful effects be? Would it make it easier for underage kids to drink? Would they be slipping this powder into their, sports bottles at school and getting drunk at school? Maybe. But again, if they've got access to powdered alcohol, then they've got access to regular alcohol, and they could also be slipping that into their water bottles at school, regardless.
Precisely. Exactly.
This is not creating a new intoxicant, Laura. Right? It's not like we've discovered this new thing called alcohol. And by the way, Colorado just legalized pot. I mean, let's not forget here
right.
that if you're looking for some sort of a drug to use or perhaps abuse, you've got some options here that are probably going to be easier to find than powdered alcohol.
Right, and in the articles that they've had out on this, when they sprinkling it on your Wheaties line, it almost makes you think that it's like a packet of Sweet and Low, and it's this terribly concentrated thing. No, it's this big bulk of powder that is a lot lighter, but it's still very bulky. And what's interesting that the guy talks about in his videos, there are also commercial uses for this. So alcohol used in antiseptics. If you are shipping humanitarian supplies to, let's say there's a big earthquake or flood or something, and the U.S. is shipping humanitarian supplies, this stuff is 1/3 the weight of liquid alcohol. So you could ship a powdered antiseptic with powdered alcohol as a component, and you could ship lots more of it, 3 times more, because it is lighter weight. Hawaii is interested in having powdered alcohol shipped over because of the incredible cost of shipping anything to Hawaii. Mm-hmm. They can get more bang for their buck because it's lighter. The shipments are lighter. So there's all kinds of interesting uses that are so innovative. And like I said, what we love about the free market, that somebody finds a niche and fills it, and he should be hailed as a hero. And people are trying to ban his product before it even hits the market. It struck me as something that is, as gun owners, and for you, Cam, as kind of a food freedom guy, that you and your listeners would be interested in.
I absolutely. And, as you say, I mean, as a gun owner, we're dealing with this argument right now, Laura, of, well, we need to, again, they're still at it with it. We need to ban semi-automatic firearms, right? A technology that has been around for over a century. And there is this sort of, knee-jerk reaction sometimes. We're seeing this with e-cigs as well. There was a study that came out, I think this week, as a matter of fact, showing fewer kids are actually smoking cigarettes. This is good. Now, a certain number of them are smoking, or they're vaping. They're using e-cigs, but the younger generation actually drinking less, smoking less. They're doing okay. They're doing okay. They're not they're not the drunken, drugged up louts that oftentimes university officials proclaim millennials to be. I think actually we've got to start giving each other and our kids some credit here, actually.
Right, and the e-cigs I think is even stranger because it is improving on the healthfulness, so to speak, of the product, or taking away some of the health detriments. In this Palcohol, it seems to be simply a different way to package and ship and take it on your hike or take it on your hunt, or all the various things that people do, but it makes it lighter, not necessarily less bulky. So all of these things that they're saying, well, kids can do whatever, they'll sneak them into sporting events. Well, if they're going to sneak that into a sporting event, they could probably sneak 4 of those little bottles just as easily and have more alcohol. So this isn't the product that's going to create those problems.
No, it's not. I think all of these arguments are based on the person making them and their experiences as a teenager. I just have a sneaky suspicion, like, well, I would have done this, so therefore kids today would have done this too.
Sure, without looking at the fact that this guy, I think his name is Mark Phillips, he invented something new. There are some really cool uses for it, like I was talking about alcohol in antiseptic compounds for humanitarian purposes. There's some really great uses for this. So without even looking at this man's right as an American to create a product that people want to buy, the nannies and butt-in-skis think that it's their job to say, we know better than you. We, the 100 legislators in Denver, know better than all Coloradans what to do with this product. I'd like to decide whether I buy it or not. I don't need Representative-elect Joanne Winholtz to tell me.
So where do you think this is going to go, Laura?
I don't know, but I'm clearly riveted by this story. I get slightly obsessed when I see something like this that's such a, the American dream of starting a business and inventing a product. I don't know anything about this guy's background, if this is his first product or not, but it seems like the American dream and what we're about. And like I said, we should be throwing this guy a parade, and especially in Colorado, where Republicans, and by and large Republicans, it was, and there were some Democrats too last year with our gun control bills who were on the side of gun owners. But gosh, a Republican, we just spent a lot of time and energy and effort trying to stop these gun control bills, recalling and unelecting some of the representatives and senators who were the most egregious. And then we have a Republican coming in saying, hey, but I want to ban this because it might be dangerous. I just find it completely hypocritical. And I get it. She's new, but I'm not sure what version of the Constitution she's reading.
All right, well, we will certainly keep our eyes on this. Let me know if you actually do sample the powdered alcohol.
Yeah, on their website it says it's not for sale yet. Sign up for their newsletter, yada, yada. They'll keep you posted. So I don't know that will be anytime soon, but I definitely will keep an eye on this and the other story about the Colorado school districts. I'll check around and see if others have also changed their policies.
All right. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate it. It's good talking with you.
Thanks, Cam. You too.
Laura Carno from I Am Created Equal.